What's up, guys? This is Kalo, and normally I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming, but welcome back to another episode of Hot Topic. And as per usual, I'm joined by Aiden. Why don't you say what's up?
Hello.
He's raising the roof here, and we're going to raise the roof to you guys because you guys should subscribe here to Game Sandwich because we're always turning out the top tier video game comments and, leave a comment if you'd like. Also,
And bells.
and
And the
bells.
bells.
Subscribble.
I don't,
That was
I
the
don't know if
term.
the bell matters.
It
Yes.
might. I see a lot of popular YouTubers talk about that. Also, join our Discord because we're always talking about video games there. Now, I gotta talk about games because I need to get on my soapbox because this is my soapbox for video games now. PlayStation. You had me. You won Game of the Year with Astrobot, 3D platformer. There was a headline that broke, like, hey, we might go back and leverage old IPs. Great. Herman Holtz, you're on it. You're on it. You got Game of the Year. It wasn't this live service Concord or Helldivers or whatever. It was a 3D platformer. But what do? I think in that same interview, hey, we're going to continue live service games. Hello? Like, what are we doing here? PlayStation, you had it. The ball was right there. Game of the Year. And now you might go do this older IP stuff. Not everything needs to be a massive AAA cinematic experience. But before I go into a rant here, your thoughts on this?
I mean, you know what? I will point out too, like here, that, okay, so they want to focus on live service titles. Great. That's fine. Whatever. They can. But my worry with it is that they don't know when to stop and they don't like to listen to people.
Exactly.
Helldivers is a great example here. Helldivers came out. It was a great title. It is a live service title. It has been doing great, but the second that Sony interfered, everyone dropped the hell off that game, review bombed the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And then Sony backed off and people were like, hey, we like this game again. Sony, get the fuck away from here.
It's astounding that a company can do that. Like, they see it.
like-
They see it playing out, and they're like, nah, we're just going to do it.
Yeah, they need to just like listen to people and learn when to just stop. That's mainly the issue here. You know, like they didn't listen when it came to Concord. And now that this news is even out, people mocked the fucking shit out of them on Twitter or X or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Blue
Screw Elon
Sky,
Musk.
all that stuff. There's a bunch of different stuff. Now, I want to be clear here. Herman Holtz, the exact quote was, continue to focus on developing live service titles along with the story-driven single-player titles that our players want. The only thing I need to preach here, moving forward, don't do this thing where it's like, for every 2 Concords and Helldivers, you get 1 single-player thing. I think out of the full year, you're better served doing, like, 1 live service. The rest could be whatever type games you want. Because it's been proven, again, with Concord. You had Helldivers 2. That game was great. It did well. It arguably made up for what Concord was. Because they didn't give that game a chance at all. But you have the formula. You have formula not only for single-player games, but now live service. Like, you've seen Helldivers. You covered this game top to bottom on Game Sandwich.
I love Helldivers. It's fun.
Exactly. It's like you have the whole blueprint for that. Why mess it up? Why do this? Like, this past year, 2024, how many headlines did we hear? This live service game got shut down. This game didn't work because of this. Moving forward, studio closure, blah, blah, blah. It was littered all over the place. And to go into 2025 and say, yeah, we're just going to continue doing that. Like, no, admit your fault and be like, all right, like, we got to adapt this strategy. You already canceled half of them. So it's like, why continue to just put out more?
Yeah, and they haven't even mentioned like, oh, how are they going to change the live service industry going forward? Like they can continue to focus on live service if they want, but how are they going to change it so that we don't have other Concords and so that we don't have more studio closures? We don't need, I know it's not Sony, but we don't need another Redfall, you
Yeah.
know? We
Yeah.
don't need them to go like the route of like Evolve that happened in the past
Ooh.
or Anthem that like all those games that shut down quickly, you know? Like all of them were live service, but none of them stood a chance. And like it was mainly, I would say, just because like none of them brought anything new to the table, and like none of them really listened to the player base.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, really going forward, that should be what they said. They said they should have said, "We're going to focus on live service titles as by listening to the player base
Yeah.
and doing what they want."
Well, this is the thing too, and you kind of brought this up earlier. Do we trust PlayStation at all? Like their track record for single player games and all that stuff, top tier, top of the line. That's where you go to get those type of games. The live service department of that whole thing. I mean, just off memory alone. Of course, we talked about Concord, Foam Stars, like any of those type of games. Are they around? Like, are they working? Are they popular? No.
To my knowledge, Foam Stars is shutting down, isn't it?
Exactly. So it's like, all right, for every Helldivers, you had like 6 other ones that failed. Like, we're looking ahead. Was it Fair Games is the next, I
Yeah,
assume the next one?
Fair Games is one of the next ones.
Do we honestly think that game is going to do well?
I mean, I think it stands a better chance,
I don't.
mainly because it's made by the studio that made Payday, and it the same style of gameplay as Payday, and people like Payday. So, really, I could see that one going over well.
People
But
like Overwatch, but they didn't
also,
like Concord.
yeah, but like also, Sony has a habit of just like copying what is there.
Yeah.
They have, and that I think in a whole is where the issue is mainly for live service games. Is like, oh, Overwatch did good. Let's make Overwatch, but different. Like, like Overwatch is very popular, or Marvel Rivals is very popular. Let's make Concord with no personality. Let's, like, what was it? Sea of Thieves is super popular with uh Microsoft. Cool. What was Ubisoft's answer? Oh, let's make Sea of Thieves, but more realistic.
And it wasn't even like
Like,
Sea of Thieves. It was like some weird. You couldn't get
yeah.
off the boat or whatever. It was so bad. Skull and
And
Bones.
also Sony, yeah, Skull and Bones. And also Sony also like with Foam Stars. But Splatoon. Sony.
It's so bad, and it's just a track record. Like, people bash Xbox, rightfully so, about what they do. Because, again, it seems like every time they do something right, you're like, oh, they're doing it. They're doing the thing. And then they step on the rake and hit themselves in the face.
Yeah.
PlayStation is doing the same thing. And it's weird that it's not across the business as a whole. Of course, we bash them about like the PS5 Pro and stuff like that. But it's just with live service. Like that is the only thing they struggle with as far as like why are we making these games that just come out, we don't give them enough time and whatever. X Defiant, that was another game, and I
Yeah.
think the signatures went up for that game to keep it up. It's like
I mean, they've gone up to like 5,000.
5,000, you know. But
Yeah.
still, it's this thing where you've had experience in the space multiple times in different games. Why are you just going to continue to say, yeah, we're making more? Instead of just saying, like, hey, going forward, we're just going to make quality games. Don't tell us what type of games they are, and then drop the next live service game and make sure it's quality. I mean, games like Rocket League, Fortnite, Warzone all exist because they offer something different, like you said. They all offer
Yeah.
these different experiences that you can't get anywhere else. Why
Yeah.
are
I
we
mean, I
doing
have
these
a whole
clones?
list. Like, I have a whole list here that's like, okay, good live service games here. Rocket League, great. Genshin Impact. I mean, there's a million of those, but like Genshin was like the first one.
Yeah.
Like Path of Exile, super popular. Even though it's Diablo, like even though like it is like Diablo, it's better than Diablo. It's not Diablo. Blizzard, you suck. You should not exist anymore. But like League of Legends, that one stands out. It's a one of a like it's the original, you know?
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves, the original pirate one, Grand Theft Auto. That online, I mean, it's popular just because people love Grand Theft Auto in general, but also the online is a lot different than any online that you're going to have with other games.
Yeah, and to that point, for every GTA online, Red Dead Redemption's online is one I wished it would have taken off, but it didn't. Like, it's
Yeah.
proven that, like, yeah, you can be at the top of your game with everything else, but there's that one fault that can cost you a lot of money, or potential money in this case. But, like, the other part to this all, and this is the thing I was most excited for, is it me being naive? Probably. But where Herman Holtz talked about leveraging older IP. This is the thing where I always say with PlayStation, you can, like, I'm not here saying, like, don't make any live service games at all. Realize, I guess what I'm trying to say is, realize your talent, and then just, like, add the live service as, like, the sprinkles on top. Like, churn out your classic Jak and Daxter, Sly Coopers, Killzone. I'll take a new Killzone. Your case, Bloodborne. Like,
Yes.
do more. Like, that is what the fans, if you're talking about what the fans want, that is what the fans want. And then I'm trying to, like, lessen the terms here. Turn a blind eye to, like, the cruddy live service game they turn out that might find popularity if it really takes off.
Like honestly, like you just pointed out, focus on the older games and then turn them live service, you know? Like you can easily do that and have it be great. You know, like it can be a single
Tread
player
carefully
experience.
here. I don't know what you're about to do.
Okay. 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 Let me break it down here.
Paint the
Like take the
picture.
GTA route here. Here we go. You make a great single player experience and you make a great online experience with it.
Okay.
That's what I mean by live service. I don't mean literally take Jak and Daxter and turn it live
I was like,
service.
I don't need a battle royale Jak and Daxter. I don't need that.
Yes,
If
you do.
that's the next game, I will be mad.
Hear me out here. Hear me out here. $100, like $100 million idea right here. Jak and Daxter hero shooter. There you go.
Oh,
I've
why?
done it.
Why?
Sony, you're welcome. You can pay me the big bucks now.
I mean, technically, did we not just see that with Elden Ring and was it Night Thunder?
Yeah, Night Rain.
Night Rain. Yeah. So
I mean, it's going to be like an extraction game, basically.
anything's possible nowadays, I guess. But yeah, like, I'm not saying don't make these live service games. What I'm saying is, you, as of late, have not been doing well in that department. Don't just make it a thing where you, like, have to meet these quarterly budget whatever things just for the sake of it. Like, hey, here's fair games and here's Last of Us Factions. Rest in peace to that game. Like, don't do that. You're only damaging your reputation as a console maker.
And if you're going to make live service games, have them be unique.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
Like, have it be unique. You see games, you see a blueprint here of games that like become popular. Like Rocket League became popular because it's unique and it stands out. People like it because it's its own thing. Warframe, its own thing. Like that's been popular for forever. And nobody has tried to mimic that one. Nobody's tried to mimic Rocket League. Except for, actually, there was one that tried to mimic Rocket League and it failed. It was called Deformers. I remember this.
Ooh.
That one.
I'm trying to look at. I don't know if you can remember it,
What?
because you talked about Rocket League. That soccer game that was unveiled at the Game Awards. It's from the people who made Sifu, where it's just like Kung Fu soccer, pretty much.
I
It's like,
don't know.
it's gonna eat away at me and I don't want to just sit here and type away profusely looking for it. But there's an example of a game. While I don't think it's gonna like take off and be like the next big thing, it's different. Like, can you name a bunch of like kung fu soccer games? No, there isn't many out there. But in the off chance like a streamer plays it and it catches fire, there you go. Like, there's another good game. Again, like it looks like Rocket League, but with humans, obviously, and kung fu.
It's called Rematch.
Rematch?
Yes.
Okay, so there you go.
I,
So, but like that's a game that is a live service game, I assume, and
yeah.
you're gonna, you might find success. I don't know. I can't guarantee anything. You honestly can't guarantee anything with gaming. You can be a single player game. You could be the next God of War, the next Spider-Man, the next Halo, and you're gonna suck. You might. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
out there. But for the sake of being different, it's better to do that than be like, all right, here's our take on Payday, and
Yeah.
nothing really changed. It's just
Or like, here's
Payday.
our take on Splatoon. Here's our take on Overwatch. Here's our take on whatever. Make something unique. I have said time and time again, and if anyone steals this idea, then so be it. I deserve royalties here. But
Trademark it.
I've said forever, like, so Destiny 2, by far, to me at least, like, while I don't love Destiny 2, I have always loved the sword play in that game. So whenever you get a melee weapon, I love how you actually interact with the swords.
Yeah.
Like, they are so much fun. And I have said time and time again that they should make a game that solely uses the mechanics of that. That solely just uses the mechanics of the swordplay in Destiny 2. And if they make that a live service game, I'd be super interested in it. And
There you go.
it would stand out. So there you go. Like, take something, like, you can even take a small mechanic from a game and turn it into a full game and have it be that focus as long as it stands out, you know?
Again, you look. I mean, for what it's worth, the Game Awards, like the Game of the Year category, was full of different games. I mean, you talk about live service games, Balatro. Like, who would have thought? Game of the Year contender is a card game. I haven't played
Yeah.
Balatro, but like, it's a card game. It's pretty much poker, from what I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sorry, but
That's
you know,
all I know it as.
there you go. But like again, it's different. Like I get you see a bunch of these Texas Hold'em cheat games or whatever, but it shows if you put enough quality in it, you make it stand out, you do the right things as far as monetization goes. You could be Game of the Year contender, a live service game. Who would have thought? Like, what I'm pretty much saying is, I guess, quality, quantity, kind of flip that. We need quality in games, not quantity. I don't need 6 live service. Also, that's a whole other conversation. Retention of these games. Are you really going to jump from one live service to the other, to the other?
Yeah.
Like, that's a whole other... That's
I mean, it's
what's
been
risky
talked
about
about
it.
a lot. Like, are
Yeah.
you going to go to X Defiant when you're already playing Call of Duty?
Mm,
Probably not.
no, but apparently PlayStation thinks they can continue this and not continue to give me a Jack and Daxter game. Although I did see a fan-made Jack game coming out. My eyes are glued to that, and they did a voice cast reveal. It's looking
Ooh.
pretty good. It's looking pretty good. I just, I got my finger on the pulse there. If anything comes of it, I will talk about it here on Game Sandwich. You best believe I will. Is there any closing remarks about PlayStation or, the State of the Union heading into 2025?
You know, I feel like it's deja vu, and I feel like I'm talking, like, saying a ton of shit that I've already said before. But like, PlayStation, just listen to people. I mean, come on. Like, you have a blueprint in your fans. Listen to what the hell they are saying.
Literally. Like, you don't have to give us Sly Cooper and Jack Daxter. Like, give us a new Bloodborne or
Yeah.
Killzone or
Or create another new lovable character. You've already done it with Astrobot. Come
Ape
on.
Escape. Ape Escape is right there.
Yes. Thank you.
Ape Escape is right there. Just please, something. A lovable furry character in my life. That'll do some good. Because
Yes.
Lord knows Banjo is not doing anything over at Xbox. I need someone new. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But before I really start getting emotional about games they're not bringing back, I want to urge you guys to join our Discord, because that's where I'll be talking about my love for these games and just talking about games in general. And if you want more gaming content just like this, consider subscribing to Game Sandwich for all your gaming news, rumors, and reviews. But as of right now, I have been Kalo, joined by Aiden, and we'll see you guys next time. If you enjoyed today's video and want more content just like this, consider subscribing to Game Sandwich for all your news, rumors, and reviews. And we'll see you guys next time.